Let's get to our trading strategies now. Welcome Sudarshan Sukhani first. Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking also is joining us, as is Amit Gupta of ICICI Direct. Good morning to all of you. Well, Sudarshan, first up, the direction of the Nifty yesterday didn't make that expected charge on 8,300. Does it just meander? Is there a trade?
Yeah, good morning. Well, I see the markets do what they want to do. So what we have to do is to follow them. The trend is up. If the trend is up, then we want to be on the long side of the market. Now, whether we'll see a rally today or tomorrow or not see at all is something that the markets alone will decide. I'm repeating, we need to be on the long side for the Bank Nifty and the Nifty both. There is nothing to suggest that the trend has faltered. It's just held up. That happens quite often.
Okay, so do you stay with longs or you even take fresh longs?
No, I would stay with long positions, and if somebody still doesn't have a long position, I would be willing to take a fresh long position. Intraday also, it's quite possible that we could see a trend day up or down. I don't know, but I would only bet on the upside. Okay. If markets start moving down, I'm stepping aside for the day. So whether it's intraday or whether it's a swing trade, okay, I would be willing to take a long position, yes.
Fair.
I'm sorry, I missed out on what the stop loss could be, Sudarshan. If one is going long, where does he place the stop loss?
Or if you're going long, then your stop is somewhere around 81.80. It's a tight stop, which really means either the market gives us what we want. If it starts sliding down, we get out.
Okay, so let's talk about your individual stock ideas now. Sun Pharma, the first buy call on your list.
Well, Sun Pharma has been having decent days, and there was a deep correction that's over. Pharma as such is now coming out of a correction. All across the board, pharma stocks are doing well. Yesterday we saw a mild correction in Sun Pharma. I would treat that as a mild one-day correction and expect the up move to resume again. And luckily we are also buying on a dip.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you about Jubilant. It actually saw some bit of fall yesterday as well. You see it as a short sell?
Jubilant is a short sell. This is Jubilant Foods.
Yes.
So, yes, it's a short sell. It's been a short sell repeatedly earlier in our list, and the stock has been coming down. It's not participating. See, the Nifty has had a handsome rally, and Jubilant Foods has been falling during this rally. That's not good news. So either we are entering a very deep correction or even a mini bear market. Now, in a relatively bullish trend, a stock is falling regularly. That's a short sell quite easily.
Okay, well, the other call that you have a buy on this morning is CESC. Haven't seen that on your list for a while now.
Yeah, in fact, we were bearish on it. But since then, since about a month or so, power stocks have suddenly, well, they've become like momentum stocks. I have no idea why. Again, we'll wait for Lata to tell us. But all power stocks are doing that. CESC is participating in the rally. The rally in power stocks is not over. After a mild 3-day correction, not a correction, a consolidation, CESC is resuming its up move. It's not a long-term trade, but we are short-term traders, momentum traders. There's a momentum buy in CESC specifically and generally in most power stocks.
Okay. Well, no secrets on that, Sudarshan. It's not that I'm privy to anything. It's just that the government is making the power distribution companies perhaps more capable of buying power. At the moment, they're so laden with debt that they are not able to buy any fresh power. Their debt may be passed on to the state governments. That apparently is an agreement that will be thrashed out in a month. If that's done, more power will be bought, and therefore power companies have reason to cheer. One hopes it works out to plan, actually. Well, the other sell you have is M&M. M&M also has been seeing weak days.
Yeah, it's surprising because blue chips are having a decent sort of run. They are participating with the Nifty, but M&M is not doing that. It's actually falling. Now there may be so many reasons, but the charts tell us that it's not only a decline, it's really something that we can go short in. Usually we say if something is falling, a blue chip, avoid it. Don't go short in an uptrending market. But M&M is so weak that you could actually go and sell it.
Okay, M&M is quite weak. On the flip side, a stock that you've decided to buy today is Page Industries. That one has resumed its uptrend, you think?
I think so. Page Industries had a correction like most other stocks during the Nifty correction. Then it's now resumed its up move. It was a V-shaped rally. a flat consolidation and a breakout from the consolidation. Now it's been an outperformer, and it's quite possible that the outperformance can again kick in. So I would be a buyer here. It's not only a day trade, it's also a swing. You could, if you want to make a position, then it's a positional trade too.
Okay, and then you have a buy on MMFSL. The group company is a sell, but MMFSL is a buy.
It's a buy. It's fallen a lot. After that decline, it started building a base. I always like stocks, Lata, which build a base, which tells us the declines are over because all the selling is being absorbed. That's what a base really means. After that base building process, for about 2 months, it's now moving up. It's breaking out. This is good news. So it's a short-term buy. It's a positional buy, both.
Okay, and your final buy is on Indiabulls Housing Finance.
Well, it's been an outperformer. It's mild correction. That correction may well be getting over because I'm still thinking that the Nifty is going up. Whether it goes up today or next week is really anybody's guess. But I would be a buyer, and that mild correction should therefore move on the upside finally, today, tomorrow, day after, whenever.
Okay, Sudarshan, please stand by for more stock questions that we will hurl at you, but let's invite Mayuresh and Amit as well into the conversation. Mayuresh, first up, you think the markets will give a huge thumbs up to Hero Moto?
Morning, Lata. I think, again, structurally, I think if you look at the operating margins, I think the operating margins have come in higher. But again, I think it's a mix because of fall in commodity prices and the cost optimization program LEAP that the company has embarked upon. So the management, even in its last con call, was very clear of cost savings of close to 200 odd crores for FY16 to 25 odd crores for FY17. But what really needs to come out of the management commentary later today is how they perceive demand to probably come through with the weak monsoons that have just taken place. So in that sense itself, I think in the last con call they had tapered down their volumes close to 3 to 4%, and if that probably happens, you might see some amount of issues happening on the top line. Yes, I think the realizations did go up to 43,400 odd crores, but what happens with their premium launches? How do they manage their product mix? What about the export markets? I think all these questions need to be probably answered. So yes, I think performance was excellent on the operating front, but clearly I think all these issues need to be addressed by the management. So as on date, I think we got a neutral call with a target of 2672 for the stock.
All right, we will await more details from the management. They have a conference call at 12 p.m. later today, so we'll listen into that. But Mayuresh, morning, the other stock that has reported very disappointing numbers is Federal Bank, and you have been bullish on that stock for a long time. In fact, so has the market, but now the last couple of quarters we've seen some chinks in the armor. What would you do with that stock now?
So clearly, Sonia, I think disappointing set of numbers, and again, I think the asset quality with the kind of exposure that they've got to the corporate and the SME book has played truant on their balance sheet. So gross NPAs at 2.9% compared to 2.56%. NIMs have compressed a tad bit. So in that sense itself, I think one really needs to understand from the management, how do they perceive their corporate and SME book? Are they seeing further weakness happening on that count? So again, I think hearing the management is very, very key at this point of time.
Okay, we should be getting the management shortly, Mayuresh. Actually, Amit, let me get your strategy in as well. How will you tackle the Nifty? I think you have a strategy in the bank Nifty rather than the Nifty.
See, the one way to trade in this long series was to sell the options, and that is what we are doing for our clients. Because last week we had sold 8100 call and put options in Nifty, where the premiums had come down despite Nifty little bit moving up. But overall, if you see the move, because this series started after the 24th of the last month, and then the walls on 30th of September had come below 20%, and since then they have fallen by another 4% absolute numbers. So who has made money in this? With the decrease of the volatility, it is a seller of the options. And if you look at Bank Nifty now, particularly 17,500 strike in the put options, the writers are more active. On the higher side, 18,000, 18,500, these call strikes are more active by the writers. So I think if somebody can sell 17,500 put and along with this 18,000 call strike and till expiry, so you have to hold only for 1 week or so. So the total premium is still available is around 300 rupees. So which will hedge your position comfortably. That is what I believe, because market's consolidation is likely to continue. Yes, I understand the bias is definitely positive, because previously we had seen 8100 put option being written, and now in last to last session we saw 8200 put option being written. And there are two factors. If you believe that the skepticism by the retail participants is still there despite Nifty moving up by almost 700 to 800 points. One is the Nifty futures discount, and then another one is the PCRY, which is still at 1, because the PCRY not increasing means it is only the strong hands which are writing the puts, and that is why the put open interest is not increasing that much. And the Nifty future discount in the last two sessions, the last session it was 7 and before that it was 5, and the dividend in this series is only 5 points left. So overall I think these skepticisms will keep the market stay here for some time, and that is why more stock specific moves you will see.
Okay, so more stock specific moves. So let's just talk about that itself. You have a couple of calls. You have a buy on CESE too this morning, Amit?
Yeah, definitely, because see, the power space is seeing some buzz. I mean, since the Discom news started coming and then we saw further announcements related to the sector, the certain stocks which were the outperformers before, I mean, it's a long time now, but they were outperforming before, like CSC was one of the biggest outperformer in the power space. It has again started moving up, but in the last 6 months, I believe it has formed a very good base around 500 to 550 levels, and then it was following a falling trend line in the last 1 year, and this trend line has been taken out with almost 5 months high volumes. So that was the level was 575, where I am keeping the stop loss right now, and on the higher side I think 635, 640, these levels can also be seen. This is not a stock where people have gone short, so I can expect short covering. It is one of the stocks where people were long before, and just because of some adverse news flows they liquidated the positions, but it has spent enough time at the lower levels now and then started moving up. So we are seeing fresh signs of long additions coming into it, and that is why some momentum may continue now for at least couple of this series, and then this may be carried forward to the next series also.
Okay, well Amit, let's go through with your other strategies as well. You have a strategy on X side.
See, I think battery stocks should perform in the automobile ancillary space, and Amar Raja has remained the outperformer, but I think Exide towards this expiry may be a good short covering play. One of the reason is it has possibly formed a very good base now, 150. The reason being, if you look at the options open interest, particularly the put options open interest at 150 strike, it is really huge, and it started coming up when the stock was slipping from 156 to 150 levels in the last couple of weeks, and now it has reverted again back from the 150 levels. So I believe this short covering, because 10 to 15% of OI in future segment has already been closed in this pullback from 150 to 155 again. So I think this pullback may continue and the stock may move towards 170 levels also. So if somebody can buy 155 call for this expiry perspective, then I think 3.5 where it is trading right now, so it is possible it can move up to 8 to 9 rupees also.
Actually, Sudarshan, I wanted to get you on some of the stocks we have been discussing with Amit and Mayuresh. Is there a discernible trend in Hero Moto as well in Federal?
I don't track Federal Bank because the charts are often go haywire, and somehow it's not a bank that I usually favor. So I'll leave that aside. There is a trade in Hero MotoCorp, and that trade is to be a buyer there. Hero MotoCorp had a sharp run up. After that run up, it's been consolidating for almost a month. So if I go by the theme which I am going, that the Nifty is inching upward, and Hero MotoCorp after that consolidation should see further gains.
Okay, Mayuresh, do you track Syngene by any chance? I mean, that one reported a really good set of numbers this time.
Unfortunately, I do not track that, but if you look at the kind of product profile that they've got, I think it's highly concentrated, and again, I think the kind of niche approvals that one really expects Syngene to come through, I think yes, an exceptional set of performance. But if you look at Biocon, I think the performance has been quite tepid. So I think on the CRO front, one really needs to understand what kind of capex plans are going on their insulin unit. Malaysia, what happens with the API part. And again, I think the biopharma sales, I think really expectations were close to 8 to 10% in terms of growth, which has just come at 4%. So again, I think with kind of increased capex that Biocon has got, the ROEs, ROCs will remain constrained. But yes, I think Syngene exceptional set of performance. So I expect the stock to react very positively today.
Okay, we cannot ask the technical guys because there's, I guess, hardly any data on Syngene. But Sudarshan, you want to take a jab at Concor? Even that apparently reported very subdued numbers.
No, I don't track Concor. I'm sorry for that.
All right. Mayuresh, any thoughts on Concor?
So clearly, Lata, I think the EXIM volumes have held up for Concor. The domestic segment is the weak link, and again, I think the haulage charges, the increase thereof probably is a pertinent factor to note. Again, I think clearly the dedicated freight corridor is one topic that all of us love to speak about. Or when it comes through, I think Concor will benefit, but when it comes through, so I think that's the big question mark for Concor. And clearly, I think based on both the segment to volume growth expected, I think really looking really at how the EXIM will perform going forward. And again, I think from a valuation perspective, trades close to 25 times at 570. So I think it's close to fair valuations in my opinion. So again, I think a 5-10% move is what I expect probably Concor to move in a band. But again, I think outperformance will only happen once we get some definite clues on how the dedicated freight corridor is moving, and only then the stock will get probably re-rated.
All right, stay on. We have one more gentleman who joins in to track the two big nifty companies that reported their numbers post-market hours yesterday, ACC and Hero MotoCorp. Mihir Javeri of Religare Capital Markets joins us now to talk about that. Mihir, hi, morning. I'm going to start off with ACC because, you know, that company reported a 40% drop in profits yesterday. And you have been, slightly cautious on that stock as well. Take us through the numbers and what you expect the stock to do today.
Yeah, so the EBITDA per ton came in at around 469. My estimate was around 423. So it was a tad better in terms of numbers, in terms of EBITDA per ton, which has come in. Nothing really great. There has been a one-time off in the employee cost of 20 crores, and there has been the DMF related charge of 25 crores of the previous 2 quarters. So if I adjust for that, more or less the EBITDA per ton stays there, what they have reported. So I think I still stay cautious on this stock. I have a hold rating on this stock, given the fact that there will be still earnings downgrade which will happen in this stock, and it is one of the weakest in terms of EBITDA per ton compared to its large cap peers. So I remain cautious on this stock.
Okay, well, let me come to Hero Moto. It seemed to have impressed with its realizations this time. You like that stock? You liked its performance?
Yeah, it has been a splendid performance by Hero. Then the margins have come in at 15.8. We were expecting around 15% margins for Hero. So I believe that the risk of earnings downgrade is now subsided, given that volume decline will be there, but margin will save them. So I think overall the numbers were pretty good. So I have a buy rating on the stock with a target price of 3,000. I believe that the stock should do well.
Okay, but wouldn't you be concerned about heightened competition? Give and take everything, the revenues are still down about 1%, and now Honda is close on the heels of Hero MotoCorp, has outsold Hero in many states as well. Would that not be a worry for you?
That has been the worry and that is why the stock has not really outperformed as well. So we have there in the numbers. So if you see the numbers for this year in terms of volume growth would be a decline of 3 to 4%, which is there. And now with the new launch of possible new launch of the scooters, which is going to be there, the Duet and the Mastro Edge, which is already come in. I think if they are able to improve the scooter performance, then things might not look that bad.
Okay, actually, what's your hierarchy of picks in the two-wheeler space?
So two-wheeler, clearly we like Eicher. So Eicher is one which is our top pick, and then Hero and Bajaj.
Okay, just coming back to one more word on the cement space, what would your hierarchy look like over there? Because I was going through your note where you do mention that ACC is the weakest amongst the large cap peers. So is it that you would avoid ACC and look at other peers, or do you think that the entire sector could be under a cloud now?
See, the sector obviously is going under quite a bit of pressure, and with the monsoons not coming in, probably the rural demand has slowed down. So you still have a favorable base in the second half for some of these companies and as an industry as a whole. But the rural sector was the key in terms of growth over the last 2 years, which is under a serious problem. So I think as a sector, volume growth would be the key. If I were to individual stock wise, if I were to see, ACC will be I'll still remain cautious. Ultratech would be my preferred pick compared to ACC, given the fact that Ultratech has far superior EBITDA per ton. They're cost efficient, and they have the volumes backed up by the capacity as well.
Okay, but as a house, are you all bullish on cement?
We are positive from a 2-year point of view in terms of for cement. So we believe that with the kind of growth story which we are thinking on in terms of India, be it the infrastructure on the infrastructure space, I think cement is a proxy play on infra, which much cleaner balance sheets and better managed companies compared to some of the infra names. So.
Okay. Mihir, just before we let you go, Bajaj Auto's numbers are today. What is the expectation from that stock, and how are you positioned on it?
Yeah, so Bajaj Auto basically expect margins of 21.2%. 21% is what the street is expecting. That is a quarter-on-quarter increase of 70 to 80 pips, given the fact that they have the currency tailwinds with them. So I think their numbers, I don't think that there could be any positive surprise, but they should fairly do well also because margins is on their side.
Okay. All right. My final question. Any of the auto ancillary stocks, they have seen so much of falls. So have you turned positive or remain positive on any of them?
We don't cover as yet, ma'am, auto anchs right now.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mihir, for joining us with your thoughts on Hero Moto and ACC itself. Well, Sudarshan, any of the cement stocks, ACC or any others where you have a view or trade?
Well, the view is that the cement stocks are consolidating, and gains in the cement stocks will lead to breakouts and a buying opportunity. That hasn't happened, so we'll just wait if they do, because in spite of news, markets will do their own thing sometimes. So cement would be a buying opportunity if the stocks give us the first signs that okay, they are moving up. That would be the time to enter. And quickly, although you didn't ask me, the auto ancillary stocks now. Sonia's favorite stock, I think Motherson Sumi, is giving the first signs of life. Okay. After big declines for the last 1 month, it's actually been trading range bound and giving us a suggestion that perhaps the worst is over for it. I would be a buyer if it starts moving above the 260 threshold.
Please trot around that path and tell us about Bharat Forge and Bosch, all the other auto anchs, any of them that give you a trade?
All three of them. Bosch and Bharat Forge are giving us the same. Motherson Sumi is giving us a better trade, but Bharat Forge had a good day, and the first signs that perhaps a deep correction is getting over is coming for Bharat Forge. It's not yet done that, but for intraday traders, if they see some strength in it, they would be. I think you have to either buy it or avoid it. It's no longer a short sell for the short term. Bosch is again in a consolidation on the verge of a breakout. So surprisingly, all three charts are now telling us either you buy it or you avoid it. In any case, don't go short.
Okay, gentlemen, stay on. We'll take a short break for ourselves, but not for the trading ideas. So here's some more trading ideas for you in our segment Super 6. We'll come back.
My first pick for today is Century Textile. It has broken above the resistance of 555 with good volumes. Intraday momentum has entered into bullish zone. Hence, I recommend a buy with a stop of 555 for targets of 575.
I have a sell call on M&M. M&M has moved up significantly in last few weeks. However, the larger picture shows that this was just a short-term pullback after a 5-wave decline month of August. So as per relative theory, here on the stock is expected to form next set of 5-wave decline. So one can initiate short position in M&M futures with stop loss of 1284 and target will be 1175.
The first topic during current scenario is going to be Shree Cement, which has continued to strongly outperform. and the weekly and the daily bars have been positive. One can expect a target of 14,050 on upside, and on downside the stop loss has to be maintained at 12,000 levels. My second pick is Shriram Transport. It has also broken above the resistance of 970 on daily closing basis with good volumes on intraday charts. Hence I recommend a buy with a stop of 965 for targets of 995.
I have a sell call on SDIL. Weekly chart of SDIL shows 3-wave pullback, and to complete the pullback, the stock has formed an ending diagonal pattern on the daily chart, and the pattern has broken out on the downside in the last session, and the breakout has occurred on the backdrop of bearish daily momentum indicator. From trading perspective, stop loss for SDIL futures will be 79 and target will be 72.
The next stock that we have is Adani Port, which is in sell. Momentum has failed to build up in Indian equity market so far. The trend has been positive, but there is no such strong bar formation which is happening. So Adani Port is a sell with a stop loss of 322 on upside, and the target can be expected at around 290 on downside.
Express headlines of the hour. Brought to you by Berger Express Painting, the faster, cleaner and better way to paint your home.
This earnings season, my research team and me will bring you the first and the finest analysis of company results as soon as they break. Watch this earnings season with me, Varinder Bansal, only on CNBC TV 18.
CNBC TV 18, your earnings partner.
Welcome back. We still have a couple of minutes for the markets to open, so let's persist with a few more buys and sells for you. Amit, you have a pair trade with Bharti Airtel and Nifty.
Yeah, I think it may work possibly towards this expiry, because we saw yesterday when Nifty came closer to the highest call base of 8300, again fresh additions came in at 83 call strike, and Nifty was not able to move beyond that. So I think some consolidation is still on, and during this consolidation there will be few heavyweights which will keep on performing. We saw the outperformance from Reliance recently after the results, and Bharti also amid certain news flows, it was just hovering around 340, 350 before, but even then it has started moving up. So we have seen that it has come above the highest call base of 340, where the call writers were active, and that is why I think towards expiry these people positions will keep on getting closed, and that will provide some boost to the stock on the higher side. In the futures already we have seen around 15-20% of short closure, so it is possible it may be a good short covering candidate, and one can hedge the position by shorting Nifty also in this.
Okay. Well, Bharti could see perhaps more gains as well. Sudarshan, you have a view on Bharti?
No, I think Bharti, well, it's a very different view. To me, Bharti is now coming towards 360, which I perceive as resistance. So I'm sure Amit is right in saying that resistance will be crossed, but I don't have a trade until it is actually crossed.
Alright, we have 30 more seconds to go before the pre-opening rates kick in. So let's just take one look at what the Asian markets are suggesting. The SGX Nifty is absolutely flat, but some of the Asian markets like Japan are doing well this morning. So if you look at the run rate, there's a 150-point gain that you're seeing on the Japanese market. Straits is up about 0.5%, and the Korean market too is trading in the green. So just 10 more seconds, and a lot of result reactions today, Lata.
Yes, as well, more green than red on Asia as well. So perhaps the cues will not be all that negative, at best neutral to slightly in the green from global markets. There come the first rates. It's a green tick at least for the Sensex. Nifty is wavered. I mean, why should it fall 1%? So we can ignore those ticks for the moment and wait by for what cues the rupee gives us. Rupee weakened a little bit yesterday, but we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. These days, that's been such a steady performer. It's not giving us too much by way of leads. Okay, there comes the rupee rate, largely flat. It closed, I think, 65.05 or something. Okay, the dollar is about 4 pies more expensive. So no major leads from the rupee. The Sensex and the Nifty are giving us a minor down tick at this point in time. We'll revisit, I guess, when we have more numbers, or do we want to look at just probably Hero Moto? I think Hero Moto is starting very strong, 4.7% higher, and maybe even ACC is a stock we want to watch. ACC logically shouldn't start too well. Okay, it's just about a 0.6-0.7% downtick. Anything else you want to know? Note, or is
Federal Bank is down 10% in pre-opening on the back of very weak numbers. Remember, the profits have fallen 33% for Federal Bank, so that's one stock that you should watch on the downside. And on the upside, apart from Hero Moto, there is also a couple of other names like Syngene, which have done very well this quarter. So Syngene in pre-opening is also spiking up. That stock is up almost about 9%. But Mayuresh, there are big results today, the likes of, Wipro, Bajaj Auto, Idea Cellular, and so many from the broader markets like IRB Infra, etc. Are you positioned on any stocks positively, expecting a good set of numbers today?
So Sonia, clearly I think if you look at all these stocks, I think Wipro, we are expecting a 1.8% dollar revenue growth quarter on quarter. What really needs to be seen for Wipro is the management commentary specifically on the energy vertical, which has remained extremely weak, though we expect the healthcare vertical to do extremely well for them. However, I think the IT services EBIT margin is something that I watch out for, which we're expecting anywhere between 20.5 to 20.8%. The overall EBIT margin should come anywhere between 18.5 to 18.7. So on a valuation perspective, I think Wipro looks attractively placed at 13.4 times. But again, I think the management commentary will be key. For Bajaj Auto, similarly, Sonia, I think flattish growth in terms of volumes. The operating margins expected to come close to 21.1%, more to do with the fall in commodity prices that we've seen and the kind of operating leverage benefits that Bajaj will derive. Again, I think the export markets is something that one needs to clearly monitor the management commentary thereof. So again, I think tepid set expected from the African markets, at least on a consolidated basis for Bajaj Auto. For Idea, again, I think the margins should come anywhere between 35.5 to 35.8%. But again, I think structurally telecom stocks will go to a series of downturn from Q to Q3. I think we're expecting RPMs more or less to remain flattish, the MOUs, the ARPUs to actually come down, and with the kind of spectrum payouts that all these telecom guys have done over the past few quarters, I think the return ratios should take a hit. So again, I think would remain a little bit optimistic in terms of how Bajaj Auto's numbers will pan out, and we remain optimistic on Wipro out of the...
All right, gentlemen, we now present to you a brand new segment from our head of research, Varinder Bansal. It's called Earnings Pataka. In this, we will find out, or rather, Varinder will find out for you some of those small companies' earnings which are outstanding, but which the market, because of its preoccupation with the bigger boys, usually misses out. So Varinder is carrying his lens to 6,000 listed companies on the exchanges and picking out for you those nuggets which are actually capable of a big bang impact. Earnings Pataka for you coming from Varinder today. Varinder, what's on your radar?
Well, I picked up an alcohol company to start with because there is tomorrow a holiday. GM Breweries, the company came up with very good set of numbers. Now, this is the company manufactures country liquor and Indian-made foreign liquor. It's the largest manufacturer of country liquor in the state of Maharashtra. The brands are, GM Santra, GM Doctor, GM Limbu Punch. These are the brands, which are there. But, look at the numbers which came from this company. For the quarter 2, total income was up 25%. EBITDA was up by 220%. Margins are very critical for this company, and EBITDA margins for this company was at 19.3% compared to 7.6% what they reported in the quarter 2, and profit was up 300% at 9.5 crores. Don't even look at quarter 2 alone, but even if you look at the first half, that will give you a better picture, because total income in the first half was up 16% for this company. EBITDA was up and consistently up by 172%, and for the first half itself, EBITDA margins are at 22.6% compared to only 9.5%. So the company has been moving up the ladder in the last first half itself. Profit was up 267% at 25 crores. Imagine, in the first half itself, the company has managed to report profit of 25 crores. For the entire year, that is FY15, the profit reported by company was only 18.5 crores. So they have already done 50% higher what they did in FY15. That's the performance of this company alone. You know, if you look at the company, the current market cap of this company is nearly 550 crores. It's very important to tell you that in the last 1 year, the stock has already moved from 100 rupees to as high as nearly 500 rupees. So it's already 5 times. So the numbers are good, but there are people who has actually bought the stock earlier as well. So we have to see whether the company continues to report profits or not, continues to perform or not going ahead. But the stock has run up and it was up 5% yesterday itself. But you know, a few things from the balance sheet. They went into public in 1993. No equity dilution since then. They have announced a bonus in May 2014. Net debt on the books of the company is only 10 crores, which is a positive thing. Non-current investments which are sitting on the company books is nearly 75 crores, which is a good thing for a small cap company. Return on net worth is as high as 15%, so that is also important, and it's a regular dividend paying company. So all things looking good for this company. Very good performance in the current quarter, which was reported last evening.
But did you watch it as a head of research or did you watch it as a customer?
Both of them. Actually, I'm doing a study now on this all Indian made foreign liquor companies. There are many small cap companies or mid cap companies in that segment. So let's see how they perform, and I'll be, maybe, very soon we'll give you the presentation.
He's very sophisticatedly saying country liquor. He's itching to say Desi Daru. But earnings pataka from our very own research pataka. Thanks, Varinder, for pointing out that stock to us. So that's GM Breweries, and pre-opening it is up almost about 5% or so. But so is the market, by the way, not up 5%, but it's still trading a tad bit in the green, and there are plenty of stocks that are looking quite good. So let's go back to our guests. Mayuresh, you were telling us about some of the large caps that you would look at. From the mid cap space, you have IRB Infra that's coming out with numbers today. That stock has also given very good returns lately, but what is the expectation this time?
So clearly, Sonia, I think not covering that, but again, I think within the space itself, Sadbhav is something that I'd liked for a few quarters, but again, I think the price movement has been so sharp that one really needs to understand the kind of projects under implementation, the kind of execution that the management is probably looking at. So our take is that within these companies itself, Sadbhav, IRB, fairly valued, but again, I think the EPC guys is something that we remain optimistic about. So I think MBL Infra is one stock out of the small cap that we probably like. 4 BOT projects where equity infusion of only 60 crores is required. So I think MBL Infra is something that will be backing at this point of time.
All right. Gentlemen, stay on. We've got a bunch of more trading ideas coming for you from our Bullseye team. This week, Meghna Malkan, Jay Thakkar and Manav Chopra are battling it out for the strongest portfolio. So let's hear out their picks for today.
My first call is a continued buy call on NIIT Limited with a stop of 92 and a target of 110. My second call is also a continued buy call on Tanla Solutions Limited with a stop of 32.70 and a target of 36. My third call is a buy on Century Textiles Limited with a stop of 553 and a target of 581. My last call is a sell call on Tata Chemicals Limited with a stop of 427 and a target of 398.
My first buy call is on UPL. Maintain a stop loss of 475 for an upside target of 510. My second call is buy on FDC. Maintain a stop loss of 256 for an upside target of 277. My third call is buy on Godrej Consumer Products. Maintain a stop loss of 1215 for an upside target of 1290. And my fourth call is buy on Mindtree. Maintain a stop loss of 1460 for an upside target of 1540.
JK Tyre. One can buy JK Tyre for a target of 115 with a stop loss of 106.50. Buy call is on Hexaware. One can buy this for a target of 269 with a stop loss of 253. Buy call is on Tata Sponge. One can buy this for a target of 523 with a stop loss of 487.
Okay, and he also has a sell on Dabur, which is his last call. He has a target of 261 and a stop loss at 277 rupees. So those are the calls coming in from our Bullseye participants. But here's a quick recap of what Sudarshan Sukhani has picked up for today. He has 5 buy calls, so let's start off with that. Sun Pharma with a target of 923 and a stop loss of 893. His second buy call is on CESC with a target of 612 and a stop loss at 590. Another long call is on India Bulls Housing Finance, where he places places the target at 770 and a stop loss at 725, as well as Jubilant Foodworks with a target of 1480 and a stop loss of 1545. He is also bullish on M&M Finance with a target of 250 and a stop loss of 238, as well as Page Industries with a target of 14,750 and a stop loss at 14,150. His only sell call is on M&M, where he recommends a target of 1230 and a stop loss to be placed at 1265.
All right. So that's the bunch of trading ideas for you for the day. The markets are very, very flat in pre-opening rates, not giving you any direction, but the mid-caps are still holding up. Speaking of mid-caps, Sudarshan, I mean, somehow I have a feeling you're going to say that you're not tracking the stock, but SJVN, that hydro power company, has been going from strength to strength. Did you take a look at all at the chart?
No, I don't track it, mainly because it's been doing nothing.
Yep.
So recently it has picked up, good for it, but it's a low. And quickly, Sonia, Jubilant Foods was a short sell.
Yes, didn't we say that? Sorry if we didn't. You made it amply clear that it was a short sell.
Okay.
You have a view on it, Mayuresh? Power companies generally have been doing well, and the other experts also pointed that out. But is SJVN in your radar at all?
Unfortunately not, Lata, so don't cover that stock.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us with your trading strategies. We are just about a couple of minutes for the markets to start, and they're giving us very, very flat indications. And on that note, let's invite our market master for the morning, Vibhav Kapoor of